Showtime. Time for the show. I don't know if you're watching this. I don't know if this is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I do not know. We just come into the house and come upstairs in front of the green wall and do a show. This is probably I don't know if you've seen the show in December or January. This is the last show of 2015. I'm taping this in November 4th, 2015. November 4th, 2015. You may see the show in 2016. You may see it in December 2015. It's the last show, and I think I'm going to take a few months off. I'm tired of doing this. This is really sad. You may have seen a month ago. There's always tragic murders in Chicago. I have 2 grown children. I want them out of Chicago. Or they're going to live downtown or somewhere. If they can't live in the old neighborhood where I live. No. We have these tragic murders all the time here in Chicago. And you see the preachers and politicians and they grandstand. And let me tell you something. It's about education, education, education. Clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. If you see the show, you may have seen other shows I've done where I may do this and I'll be ranting and raving, then I'll go show the water and meditation. Because as I get older, I need to get into Zen mode, try to become, I may not be a Zen master, but I need to be somewhat close as I can to quiet my mind and do some meditation mantras and whatnot and calm down and then move away from the old neighborhood. I've had enough of the generation of ignorance. I try, it's like this. I know that, I should focus on me. Focus on my health, Mark, my children, my family, and don't worry about anybody else. That's true. You should do that. You want to change the world, you first must change yourself. I get that. But also, we live in a neighborhood. I hear gunshots not far from my house. Well, they take the next block over because I can hear them, right? Gunshots. Folks getting shot. The Chicago's always had murders. We used to have 600, 700, 800. The highest was like 900 murders a year. Now we're down to 4 because so many African Americans and many African Americans moved out of Chicago. And we know why we commit crimes. Because we're slaves. We're the descendants of the slaves. We've been with racism, slavery, segregation, discrimination, disrespect. We know all of that stuff. That created Negroes, us. And so and really the problem now, those have been abandoned because integration, assimilation. Those of us who could have moved out the old neighborhood did. Now some of the crime is just density. If you take the same amount of African Americans and you move them out to the south suburbs, or you move them out to Iowa, or you move out, you will have some crime, but not the horrific murders. A lot of that stuff will just because density caused crime. Density. There's so many factors. I'm not a criminologist. I'm not a sociologist. I'm not I'm a pseudo social scientist. But we can end this crime. But it's education, 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 and it's stopping the generational ignorance. That's what it's about. And like I said earlier, you preachers, you politicians, you potentates, all of you have made good money maintaining the BS. That's maintaining the BS. I got lazy because I have ideas for the show and I don't write them down because that's who I am. I've always been a lazy person. That's why I dropped out of school 30-something years ago. People say, don't say you dropped out of high school because it's, stupid. It was stupid. Let me go a far afield here. I called my old high school, Finger High School. Dropped out in 1980. I was only like 2 credits short. Stupid stuff. Just a crazy 17-year-old teenager. That's Looney Tunes. And I called it, when I want to wish the new principal, I think his name is Mr. Smith, the new principal of Finger High School. Now, Finger High School is going to be closed down at some point. You ain't got like 500 students. Because when I was there in the 70s, it was like 3,300. It was over 3,000. And so demographic shifts have changed and people move out, but in the African American neighborhood, nobody really wants to move in. In fact, WBEZ had a great report that if the black neighborhood, the African American neighborhood is 40% black, is not going to tip or more. It has to be like 30% black, then they'll start to tip. But what I'm saying though is that not all neighborhoods, but some neighborhoods. The point is that nobody wants to live around poor black people because they commit crime. And a lot of people like us who will send our children to school don't want our children back in this neighborhood or these neighborhoods. I'm here because this little raggedy, I'm about to curse. My raggedy house on the far south side has allowed me. I'm going to get back to Mr. Smith in a minute. I'll get back to him at Finger High School. Well, let me finish. The raggedy house, Mr. Smith. Let me finish Mr. Smith. Because you see, you see why I didn't go to college. You see, I'm not a millionaire yet because I got a scatterbrain. My brain is like this, and here I is. It ain't gonna change. I called Mr. Smith I was trying to call Mr. Smith, the new principal of Finger High School, to wish him success on his new position as the Finger High School principal. I left 35 years ago. Who cares about Marc Sims? I get it. But it is my old school, which will be closed down at some point or turned into a charter school. It's just, things change. It's okay. Like if you went to a lot of the old Catholic schools back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, those schools are all gone. Most of them, right? You got a few like Hills Franciscan holding on by a thread, but just demographic shifts. Demographics is destiny, people. I don't know who said that, but it's really true. So the lady said, I can't give you Principal Smith, the principal of Finger High School. I can't give you his email. I'm like, what? This is why the schools are bad. That's why I hate the unionized schools. I hate them with a passion. Hate is a strong word. My children went to unionized schools. There were some nice people there, but they really didn't. It was a bunch of crap. Bull crap. They wrote an article. Look up Don Turner Trice, Unruly Kids. Don Turner Trice, Unruly Children. Unruly Kids or something. Unruly Students. Don Turner Trice, Unruly Students, Chicago Tribune, 2002. They wrote a story about me when my kids were going to grammar school. And then on the second half, my kids, make a long story short, my children went to a charter school. I'm not pro against charter school, but the experience at the charter school was better. Never thought the charter school was going to educate my children better than the unionized neighborhood school. Never thought that. But it was a calm environment. They were really strict. When I had a problem with a teacher, you got it taken care of. Unionized school, had a problem with a teacher, they didn't take care of it. I'm telling you, I have no love. I hope they strike. I hope they could. I'm not a pro-charter school person per se. I hope they make them all charter schools and just forget the union. Because you unionized teacher, you ruin me and you try to ruin my children too. And I don't have no love for the unionized school because it's not really like the teachers, it's the structure. It's the structure. What was I before I go far afield? We're done with Finger High School. I was talking about my children or something. I don't know. I was going to talk about, okay, this raggedy house. That's what it was. The raggedy house. This raggedy house has allowed us to, our family, to send my kids to school. This is our dream. You got your dreams. Don't hate on mine. I try not to hate on yours. Everybody got certain dreams. So we wanted to go to school. We spend, in our family, we spend, $16,000 a year just for room and board. $16,000 a year just for room and board. But I tell my children, they grown, I tell them, I said, if I gave you, let's say for the sake of argument, it costs us $100 grand to send both, I got a son and daughter, send my son and daughter to college, away to school, room and board and everything, it's going to be at least 50 grand, maybe more, I don't even look at the numbers. But the point is that, per se, I look at it, but I just quickly get rid of it. I don't see that too much, it's really wild. Because if I had to think about it, I wouldn't do it. The point is that, if I gave them the $50,000 or $60,000 cash at 18 or 22, instead of sending them to college, which is my dream, our family's dream, but if I gave them the cash, what the hell would they do with it? I just said we spend $16,000 a year for room and board per year. But guess what? That's why I live in this old raggedy house on the south side, because then that enables me to do this and sleep at night. I ain't stressed out. My children are going to come out, we're going to pay it all. They're not going to come out with no, as of right now, they're coming out with no debt. Barring some unforeseen tragedy, they're going to come out with no debt. We're going to pay it all. Because that's our dream. That's what we want to do. And guess what? I told them, if we didn't do this, we would have spent the money anyway. Let me relate this back to the crime. We have crime in the community, but like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told his followers years and years ago, he said, pull your pennies, nickels, and dimes and build a nation up. And so that's with your own family. You pull your pennies, nickels, and dimes, and that's what your extended family, community, whatever, your kids, wife, children, spouse, significant other. You pull your pennies, nickels, and dimes. You can. I wish I showed you before the money I put in the change bucket. My change bucket's downstairs in the basement. But the point I'm saying, last time it was like $40 in the change bucket. It takes years to put it together. It's put $400 in the change bucket. We have the money. But we spend it foolishly. I started saving money in my 40s, and I wish I had started in my 20s. If I started saving my money, I started saving $50 a month, and I thought that I couldn't do that, and that money grew. I ain't gonna tell you how much it grew, but it really surprised me how much it grew over time. Because I went from 50 to 100 to 200. I had to start saving up more money over time. But if I started doing that when I was younger, I would have had $300,000-$400,000 saved up by now. Because I don't have a pension. I don't have one of them good city jobs with a pension when I'm going to make $5,000 a month sitting on my behind. I don't have that, so I had to save my own money. A lot of you in the gig economy, I'm part of the gig economy, you don't have a pension. And Social Security, who knows what that's going to be 30, 40 years from now if you're young. So you have to save some money. And saving money is, and investing. I wish I had understood that, like when I told you about my children, my grown children, my son and daughter. When they get out of college, and I'm pounding them now. See, you're gonna do some things I don't like. You're gonna go over here. You're gonna do that. You're gonna do something I'm not gonna like. I get it because we're over 30 years apart. We don't see the world the same. I get that. But what I want you to do is to invest your money. It's two things I didn't do when I was younger. I dropped out of school and I got my high school degree in night school years and years ago. But I never did some post-secondary education. Never went to college, trade school, none of that stuff. That was a big mistake. I knew it was a mistake at the time. I was just so lazy. I just couldn't do it. It wasn't me. And I didn't understand about saving, investing money. I didn't understand the miracle of compounded interest. So it's two things, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. There's no guarantees in life. But there's two things knowing what I know now, I wanted my children to get a bachelor's degree. They want to get a graduate degree, that's on them. Get a bachelor's degree from college, something I should have done. And also start saving their money in their 20s, something I should have done. Whatever they do after that, I may not be happy and they're going to make choices I don't like, but that's cool. But them two things, they're going to get their bachelor's, and they're going to start saving money at 22, 25 years old, whenever they start working full time. And I want them to start saving their money because, like they say, 10% of all I earn is mine to keep. If I had just did that, 10% of all I earn is mine to keep. And I understood how it was invested, whether stocks, bonds, real estate, gold and silver, no matter what the investment portfolio is, and you should have an investment portfolio. It's like if you saw my house, my house is falling apart. We had to put a roof. It cost me $6,000 to put a roof on the house last year. But we got a lot of work to be done on the house. But we got kids in school, so we made a choice. Did we put them in school, or did we fix the house? And we're not gonna get money back. It's a better investment. It's a better investment actually put them through school than fix the house, because the house is not an investment at all. The house is not gonna make me any money. Period. But the point I'm trying to say, you have the money. If you make it 25, 30 grand or more, you have money. 10% of all you earn should be yours to keep. And that goes back to the crime. In the African American community, we don't say we're going to stop this crime. You should try to fund organizations that are helping young people with their homework, with their discipline. Taking them on field trips. I'm a big fan of field trips. You have to go on field trips. You have to save your money and go on trips. And when you go on trip, really, Washington, D.C., New York City, whatever town you want to pick. You really have to see stuff. Something I saw in 2002. It was Mount Rushmore. Haven't been back there since. I've seen the Grand Canyon once. In a lifetime, I would love to roll through, see Mount Rushmore and Wyoming again, and never see Montana, all that stuff, and drive all the way to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to go see the Grand Canyon once in a lifetime again. If I'm fortunate to go overseas, I'll see that.